It's the dictionary. 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 It's the dictionary.
Hello, word nerds, and welcome to the dictionary. My name is Spencer, and this is the podcast where I am just reading the dictionary and hopefully make it a little bit more fun. Last night I was at I did some karaoke last night. It was quite fun. I do it about once a month at this place and with the things. And I was in the bathroom, and it's at a restaurant. And I heard in one of the stalls there was an adult man helping his one or two children. I think there might have been two children in there. I'm not sure. They were in the stalls, and he was helping them out do their stuff. And I'm just listening to their conversation, and they're pretty young children. And one of them said, "Well, we'll just say it was one because I don't know." And trying to remember, the little kid said, "Dad, do you think that they're gonna take our food?" And he said, "No, I don't think they're gonna take our food." "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure they're not gonna take our food?" And the kid was very adamant that they did not want their food taken, which I thought was very cute. And they said, "Oh yeah, but our jackets are there, okay." And then, without missing a beat, the kid immediately just jumped right into a whole new topic, which was something like, "Dad, do you know how rocks are made?" And they started to have this conversation about rocks and sand, and I'm listening to this as I'm washing my hands, and it was just a perfect example of, I mean, I don't have kids in my life regularly, but it was like just such this stereotypical, like, this is how kids are. They're just constantly asking about the world and asking questions about what's going on out there, and there's always something, and their brains are going at a mile a minute probably, and it was just so perfect and spot on. "Are you sure they're not going to take our food? How are rocks are made? How are rocks made?" Okay. Oh, it was so entertaining to me. Hey, let's talk about the words. The first word in this episode is geologize. Geologize. It is a verb, an intransitive verb from 1826, and it is to study geology or make geologic investigations. I'm going to go geologize today. What are you doing with your day? I'm going to work. What are you doing? I'm geologizing. I'm going to make some geological investigations. Wow, that sounds so much cooler than me putting numbers into a spreadsheet. Ooh, I got to make a sound effect. Today I'm going to go, because that's a fun sound. Okay, next we have geology. Here we go. It's the big old geology topic. It is a noun from 1735. Number 1A, a science that deals with the history of the earth and its life, especially as recorded in rocks. How else are you going to learn about the earth and the life that happened? It all gets trapped in rocks. How perfect. How perfect was that little kid asking about rocks last night? Because how are rocks how are rocks created? Well, my answer probably would have been, I think it's a lot of layers of dust being added on. Dust and things, particles, being added onto each other layer by layer over millions and millions of years until it becomes so squished from all the pressure above them that they make a rock. They become so hard. And sometimes in those rocks you might find evidence of life, evidence of things that had lived before. Their skeletons have been, their soft tissue is gone, and their skeletons have been compressed and I think turned into rock. Skeleton part is gone, but what's remaining is still there, and we can check it out. We can observe it. We can learn about what happened before millions of years ago, not just a few thousand years ago. Okay, now we got 1B. A study of the solid matter of a celestial body, and an example of that celestial body might be the moon. So you can do geology of the moon. You would be a moon geologist, a lunar geologist, a moonologist, a yeah, okay, number 2, geologic features. So the features of just out there in the world, in the rocks and stuff, in the earth, those are just called geology. Number 3, this gets into, what did we have? We had a geographer. Okay, so this is geography. So what is the difference, actually, between geography and geology? Geography is a science that deals with the description, distribution, and interaction of the diverse physical, biological, and cultural features of the Earth's surface. Okay, so it's what's going on. You're studying that stuff. But geology is about the study specifically of the rocks on the Earth. So this reminded me of geography because number 3 for geology is a treatise on geology. And I believe we had that yes, number 3 for geography is a treatise on geography. Is that about writing about it? Geologist is a noun. Well, I mean, we know that this is from the prefix G, the Greek and the Latin, which means earth, and then just logia or logi, which I think just means like the study of a thing. Right. Geography was writing about the earth. That's really what that is. Okay, sound effect time. Next, we have Guillaume, or Geom. What did we have recently? We had Geol, Geol, and I think before that we had another one. Was there Geol? I don't remember what it was. But now we have Geom with an M. It's an abbreviation for geometric, and also geometrical, and also geometry, words that we will have in this episode. Next is geomagnetic. Woo! Geomagnetic, adjective from 1904. This is of or relating to terrestrial magnetism. Everything kind of seems like it's got some level of magnetism, or at least celestial bodies do, and other things. Maybe not everything. But yes, there is the Earth has a magnetic pole that flips sometimes. Maybe we should learn about that. Maybe we should do a quick little search. How often does the Earth's magnetic field switch polarity? Thank you for the autofill. Earth's magnetic field reverses polarity irregularly, averaging once every 200,000 to 300,000 years. Ooh, hoo-hoo. So I thought that they had been talking about this recently, so I thought that number was a lot lower. But what it says is that it has been 780,000 years since the last major reversal? These, or geomagnetic reversals, are not strictly periodic. They have occurred as often as every 10,000 years, or as infrequently as every 50 million years. So I guess the average is 200,000 to 300,000, but it could be much less and it could be much more. So we don't know. We're just sitting there waiting, checking our clocks. When's this going to happen? When's this reversal going to happen? And we could be waiting for millions of years potentially. How do they know this? What do they study? What do the geomagnetists study to learn about when it happened? How did it, what evidence is there? I don't know. Okay, so this is terrestrial magnetism. Now I think this is specifically about the Earth, the land, because geo means Earth. But is there a different word for people who are studying the magnetism on other planets? Exogeomagnetism? Maybe, I don't know. Geomagnetically is an adverb, and geomagnetism is a noun. And when I was reading that thing, I think I almost accidentally said something like geomagic or something, and I thought, well, that was an interesting idea. Magicism? the Earth is doing magic. The Earth is pulling a rabbit out of its hat. Hello, I'm Earth. Here's my hat. I'm going to pull out a rabbit from it. Ooh, geomagic. Woohoo! I'm gonna pull a quarter from behind your ear. What would the Earth do if it could do magic? Draw me a picture, please. Next, we have geomagnetic storm. Noun from 1941. The synonym is just magnetic storm. It's just a storm of magnets. A storm. What is a magnetic storm? Oh boy, that would be what is. I think we need to look this up because why not? Go to this over here and just type in what is a magnetic, not field. I want storm. Is this the aurora borealis? A magnetic or geomagnetic storm is a temporary major disturbance of Earth's magnetosphere caused by a high-speed solar wind stream or coronal mass ejection from the sun in interacting with the planet's magnetic field. Well, yes, I have definitely heard about these. I forgot that is what they were called. Sometimes the Earth burps, not the Earth, the sun. Sometimes the sun burps, kind of, and it just shoots out a bunch of rays and energy and stuff towards us. And then, typically if you're in like the northern part of the planet or the southern part, as those rays are sort of going over the Earth and interacting with the atmosphere and specifically the magnetosphere, that's when we get those very cool aurora borealises. And I think we get them anyway sometimes, depending on the conditions. But then sometimes it's like, whoa, look at that. And places, maybe when those happen, places that don't normally see the aurora borealis or the one on the south, maybe they'll get to see them. Like technically, I think we've had it in Chicago a number of times just last year, which I didn't get to see. But yeah, when we got those big old magnetic storms, other places get to see them, which is very good for those places, but also who knows what it means. Now we have geomancy. Geomancy. M as in Mancy. This is a noun from the 14th century. It is divination by means of figures or lines or geographic features. Oh, I think I need more information. Geomancer is a noun. Geomantic is an adjective. And this is from, what do we got? We're going down to, well, okay. It's really just geo, earth, and mancy. Mantia in Greek is just a mancy, the suffix for mancy. So what does that mean? Is it something to do with, these sort of more spiritual or magic or whatever that is? Geomancy. I have never heard of this, and the definition is not helping me, really. Divination by means of figures or lines or geographic features. But what are you divining? What are you divining? And then what are you using from the earth to do your divination? Let's see. It is a compound of Greek roots denoting earth divination. It was originally used to mean methods of divination that interpret geographic features, markings on the ground, or the patterns formed by soil, rocks, or sand. Its definition has expanded over time, along with the recognized definition of the suffix mancy, to include any spiritual, metaphysical, or pseudo-scientific practice that is related to the earth. In recent times, the term has been applied to a wide range of other occult and fringe activities, including earth mysteries and the introduction of ley lines and biobiology. And I'm not sure what that is. I think I've heard of ley lines. There's these tools, these interesting tools that people have made. Maybe I should post a picture of these geomancy tools. And people have done it in the Arabic region, Africa, China. They're even saying feng shui would be a version of this. Interesting. India, Central Asia, Korea, they all have their own forms of geomancy. Whew, this is fascinating. I should put the link in the show notes for Geomancy as well, because maybe you will be interested and say, oh, that looks cool. Let me do that. Next is geometer, noun from the 15th century. Number 1, a specialist in geometry. And number 2, the synonym is geometrid, which that's coming up in a little bit. So if you are a specialist in geometry, which will be our last word, you love it so much, you spend all your days drawing circles and squares and triangles, and I think those are all of the shapes. You're drawing them, you're trying to make proofs of them, you're drawing lines through them, maybe some angles are happening, maybe you're doing a little bit of Pythagorean theorems just for fun, then you would be a geometer. Now we have geometric or geometrical, adjective from the 14th century, 1a, of relating to or according to the methods or principles of geometry. What this sometimes maybe a square would be geometric because it's all about the methods and the principles of geometry. Number 1b, increasing in a geometric progression, as in geometric population growth. What would that be? It is increasing in a geometric progression? Okay, well, maybe I don't know about all of the definitions for geometry. I would think your growth is either maybe linear or exponential, but what would a geometric population growth be? Would it be it's moving up in stair steps, in triangles? How does this make sense? I don't know. I don't fully understand that. But maybe the word geometric in that definition is a different definition either here or in the word geometry. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But of course, this word, and of course, geometry, is making me think of what's the prefix here? What are we using? Does this mean earth? Or is this a different usage of the geo prefix? Did we have a different one that maybe meant something else? Earth, ground, soil, geographic, geography? I don't know about that. I guess we'll keep on reading. We'll keep on reading in this episode to learn about the etymology of these words. Now we have number 2 for geometric, which is capitalized, of or relating to a style of ancient Greek pottery characterized by geometric decorative motifs. So yes, maybe that would be the shapes. Of course, when I think of geometry, I just think of shapes. I don't know what else that would have been. 3a. Utilizing rectilinear or simple curvilinear motifs or outlines in design. So, yep, again, kind of like shapes and patterns. Basically, that's what it is. In your design, specifically, maybe you are also making some pottery, and you're like, look, I'm making these swooshies, woo, 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 and then maybe some lines all across my pottery bowl. 3b. Of or relating to art based on simple geometric shapes, and examples of those simple geometric shapes would be straight lines, circles, or squares. And don't forget about triangles. And maybe also pentagrams. And also hypotenuses. Is that a shape? Nope. What are the other ones that I can't think of? Parallelograms. What's that one with the R? It's not rhododendron. That's like a plant. It's a rhombus. There's also diamonds and kites. Okay. We have an example for this one. Geometric abstractions. So there's that artist who made that art that was all very geometric because there's squares and rectangles and lines, and they're all different colors with primary colors in black and white, and I believe that would be considered geometric art, and it's kind of abstract. Geometrically is an adverb, and there is no etymology because I believe it will be with the word geometry. So we'll get there, don't you worry. But in the meantime, we gotta go to Geometrician. It is a noun from the 15th century. The synonym, you might have been able to predict this. The synonym is the number one definition for geometer, which is just a specialist in geometry. Geometrician, geometer, they are the same things. They are specializing in rhombuses. Rhombi? Geometer makes me think of a tool that is going to read when something is a shape. Not a person, but I guess it's fine. People didn't like the word geometrician, maybe. Next is geometric mean. 2 words, noun from 1879. It is the nth root of the product of n numbers. That's the main part of the definition. So you have the nth root of the product of n numbers. Well, when you use the word n in math, you're just talking about any amount of numbers. Could be anywhere from 1 to infinity, everything in between. What if it's 27? So it would be the 27th root of the product of 27 numbers. Still don't entirely know what that means, but we do have a specifically section, which is a number that is the second term of 3 consecutive terms of a geometric progression, as in, the geometric mean of 9 is 4 and 6. Why? A number that is the second term of 3 consecutive terms of a geometric progression. I don't think I understand that either. Yeah, what? Well, okay, if we go back to the main part, the 27th root, if we're using this example, the 27th root of the product of 27 numbers. So it's, in that case, you say, I got 27 numbers. I got this amount of numbers. I'm going to multiply them all together, and then I'm going to divide them by the amount of numbers that there are, which is similar to how you take the regular average or mean. That would be where you add up the numbers and then you divide them by how many numbers there are and you get the average mean. But so the geometric mean is when you multiply them together and then you divide them by the number of the things that are there. Let's see. I'm going to look up geometric mean example. Just because. Okay, so the geometric mean is an average calculated by multiplying n numbers together and taking the nth root, commonly used for compound growth, ratios, or rates. For instance, the geometric mean of 4 and 9 is 4 times 9, and then you take the square root of that because there's just 2 numbers. You're just 2 numbers, so you just divide that by, oh wait, what is the square root again? You're trying to figure out the number that is, okay, well 4 times 9 is 36, and the square root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. It is ideal for data sets that fluctuate, such as financial returns or population growth, rather than simple additive or arithmetic averages. So the 2 numbers are much more simple, especially when the 2 numbers combine to create an even square root, like, the geometric mean of 2 and 32 is 8, because you multiply 2 times 32 and you get 64, and the square root of 8 is 8. The square root of 64 is 8. But then we have complicated ones, like the geometric mean of 9 and 14 and 31 would be about 15.75. Yeah, and they use this for all these complicated things, and it gets very complicated. So, the geometric mean of 27 numbers is, yeah, mathy people are loving this stuff. Oh, they love it so much. Okay, you need calculators for that. I don't think I could ever figure those out on my own. Hey, we got onto a tangent, so now we're going to move on. Now, I still didn't understand the second part. The number that is the second term of 3 consecutive terms of a geometric progression. What's the progression? when you're talking about the geometric mean of 9, 4, and 6, how do you get those? I don't know. Well, here we have geometric progression. That was in our definition. It is a noun from circa 1856. It is a sequence. An example of this sequence would be 1, then 1/2, then 1/4. A sequence in which the ratio of a term to its predecessor is always the same. It is called also geometrical progression and also geometric sequence. Okay, so in that example, 1, then 1/2, then 1/4, each next number is half of the previous number. 1, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, 1/32, etc. But you could have something where it triples every time. 1, 3, 9, 27, 81? I think it triples every time. So whatever the pattern is between the first couple, then that pattern repeats over and over again. So that is a geometric progression. And I still don't quite get the geometric progression of the example in the original one. 9, 4, 6. How are we getting from 4 to 6 to 9? I don't know. Nobody told me. Next is geometrics, noun from 1977. Decorative patterns or designs based on geometric shapes. Oh, look at those geometrics. Look, I recognize those shapes because I am a human and I know my shapes. It's a diamond. Next, we have geometric series, noun from circa 1909. This is a series, and then there's an example, whose terms form a geometric progression. So we didn't have geometric series in the other names for geometric progression, but it seems similar. So the example here of this series is 1 plus x squared plus x cubed plus ... So it will go on for quite a long time, x to the 4th, x to the 5th. So the terms form a geometric progression because the repeatedness of each next number is in the same pattern of how they're changing. I don't know of another way to say that. What did geometric progression use? A sequence in which the ratio of a term to its predecessor is always the same. Yes, the ratio. 1 to 2, 7 to 3. Whatever you want to do with your numbers. You could do numbers however you want to do. You and numbers have your own special relationship. Next, we have geometrid or geometrid. This is a noun from 1876. And did we have this in an example earlier? Somewhere, I believe this word was mentioned. Oh, yes. Geometer, number 2, the synonym was geometrid. So this is any of a family of... Am I reading this right? Any of a family of usually medium-sized moths with large wings and larvae that are loopers. What is a looper in this context? Geometrid is also an adjective. So, I was not expecting this at all. This is from the Greek geometries, which means geometer. But how it's a moth? It's a moth. Well, we will have to post a picture of this. Let's see. Geometrid. It's a geometrid. Oh, and then did we have the family name is Geometridae. Geometridae? One of those. Yeah, it is a moth. The geometer or geometer? Would you say that? Maybe? Probably not. The geometer moth, the moths in that family in the insect order Lepidoptera, the moths and the butterflies, comes from geo, which means earth, plus metron, which means measure. in reference to the way their larvae or inchworms appear to measure the earth as they move along in a looping fashion. Oh, I'm very glad we looked this up. So that is why they have because of these inchworms. I mean, you've seen these. I mean, they were even on Sesame Street. That worm, that's how it moved. It grabbed onto the front, brought its butt legs forward, and then grabbed on there and moved its front legs forward, and it moved on. It looked like it was measuring the earth bit by bit, centimeter by centimeter, inch by inch, however long that thing is. And they call it a looper because it's a looping fashion where when the two parts come together, the rest of the body is looking like a loop. And so it looks like they're measuring the earth. That's why they're called this. That's it. That's the whole thing. The whole hullabaloo. I should post a picture of these. The inchworm, the caterpillar version of this, the looper, and then also the adult version. I think is probably very important as well. Geometrize. Geometrize? Is that how you say it? I think it is. It is the British variation of geometrize with a Z, because this one is with an S, and then we will quickly go on to geometrize with a Z or a Z. Verb from 1603, starting with intransitive. To work by or as if by geometric methods or laws. Geometry has laws, and you're not allowed to break those laws unless you are making art or something. But sometimes squares can exist as squares when you break the laws. They're a whole new thing now. Make your own shape. Now we have transitive. Number 1, to represent geometrically. So you are geometrizing when you are representing something in a geometric way. 2, to make conform to geometric principles and laws. You are making something conform to whatever those geometric laws are. So when you put a mime in a box, in a cube, I think, then you would be geometrizing the mime. Nope, it's not possible. You're putting them in a box. You're making them conform to the laws of the glass cube, so you are geometrizing them. Yes, that is a fact. Geometrization, that is a noun. Okay, here we go. We got to our last word. It's geometry, the one that's connected to a lot of these words that we already had. Geometry, Geometry. E.T. phone home. Noun from the 14th century. Number 1A. A branch of mathematics that deals with the measurement, properties, and relationships of points, lines, angles, surfaces, and solids. All of those things. Broadly, the study of properties of given elements that remain invariant under specified transformations. They are not going to change. They will not vary under these specific transformations. You transform them in one way, you go, they're going to stay the same or something. Lines and points and solids and surfaces and planes and automobiles and trains. Now we have 1B. A particular type or system of geometry. 2A. The synonym is configuration. 2B. It's just surface shape. What is the shape of the surface? That's geometry right there. You got a vase. You make that pottery vase with all of the geometric symbols going around it, but then the surface of the vase is also geometry. Number 3, an arrangement of objects or parts that suggests geometric figures. I'm just going to arrange my objects to suggest maybe some shapes, maybe some circles and triangles. Can you decipher which they are? Speaking of shapes, They Might Be Giants have a great song called Nonagon, and it's on one of their kids' albums. But some of those songs are also very much appreciated by adults. And Nonagon is just a very fun song about shapes. They go through, triangle is the smallest one with the least amount of sides. And then Nonagon in this song is the highest. And they have very it's just musically great and fun lyrically and simple, and I like it very much. Nonagon, you learn about some shapes. Shapes I never knew about. Like an octagon. Never heard of an octagon before I heard that song. What's an octagon? It's got 8 sides, and there's nothing in the world that has 8 sides. I've never seen that before. Let's see. I feel like I need to call out my geometry teacher in high school. I was a freshman in this class. I feel like, I think he was Mr. Benson. I think that is correct. And, he was a bit on the older side at that time, and that it has been multiple decades since I was in that class. In fact, it was, holy crap, 32 years ago? How is that possible? I think I was a freshman. And he was one of the best teachers. He was a great teacher. My sister had him as well. In fact, about halfway through the school year, my hair had grown long enough that I could pull it into a ponytail. And because before that, it was just a big poof of hair. And I finally got it into a tiny, tiny little ponytail. And that first day, he did a double take. And he was like, whoa, for a second there, I thought you were your sister. And I was like, Yep, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. Thanks, that's perfect. But he was a great teacher, and entertaining and funny and passionate about points and shapes and lines and things. And it was a good class. I don't know if he's still around. I have not heard of any news. I hope he is. But yeah. Oh, and he drove around this little old. I think it was a green VW Bug that I'm sure was from the 60s or the 70s, probably. Yeah. So, hats off to you, Mr. Benson, if I have that name right. Can I do a quick Google, see if I'm accurate in this? Let's see, Mr. Benson. I'm just typing in some information that I'm not going to tell you about. Here we go. Geometry teacher. Let's see. There's information about he was there for a long time. 40 years. He retired in 2010. So that was a while ago. Yeah, that makes sense. Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics Teaching? Yeah, pretty great. Is this him on... Oh, wow. Did he have a Twitter account? Whoa. Okay. That's a... and then they made a whole scholarship for him? Whoa. That's crazy. I need to deep dive into this later, I think. Okay. So, what else do we have to pick a word of the episode. We got to do this important stuff. Today we had one on this page. We had geologize, geology, geomagnetic, geomagnetic storm, geomancy, geometer, geometric, geometrician, geometric mean, geometric progression, geometrics, geometric series, geometrid, geometrize, that's what it is. 2 of those. And then geometry. Let's pick geometric progression as the word of the episode. I'm progressing, I'm a geometric progression. The ratio of my numbers is the same from number to number. We're going 1. We're going 1/2. We're going 1/4. It's a geometric progression. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Hey, it's time for movies. Let's see. Today I'm going to tell you about the next movie that I watched, which is, I'll do 2, I guess. Wicked for Good. This, of course, you probably know, is the sequel to the first Wicked movie, which was called Wicked for stuff. Just Wicked, I think. It's very fun. The music is great. They're so beautiful. I mean, I think the main, well, two things, I guess. I appreciate that they're showing the other side of the coin. That how she became a quote unquote wicked, because you all were being buttheads. Maybe don't be buttheads. Also, more specifically, I mean, this is from the first movie, but there's more in the second one. She is just trying to help the animals. The animals are getting kicked out. The talking animals, the smart animals, they're like, go away. And she's like, no, animal rights, they're practically human. What's going on with this? So yes, I really appreciate that message, which is pretty great. It's a complicated, Galinda has a very complicated relationship. She loves her friend, and but she's also trying to do this thing, and it's I don't know how to do things. The next movie I will tell you about is Wake Up, Dead Man, and this is, I believe, the third in the Knives Out mystery series. Maybe there's going to be more, and it's about a priest, a father, a minister who dies, and then some stuff happens, and they're trying to figure out all of what's going on with that. Great cast as usual, fun movie, and Daniel Craig is so good as Benoit Blanc. All right, that is all you're getting from me today. That was kind of a long episode because I was chitty chatty. Chitty chatty bang bang. Okay, here we go. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Until next time, this is still Spencer, dispensing information. Goodbye.